Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you to everyone who's taken the time out to come today. Everyone, you got your phones? I want you to take it out. Yeah? Normally when you go somewhere, they'll ask you to put your phone away, put it on silent. I don't want you to do that today. Actually, do put it on silent, but take your phone out, and I want you to open any app where you can write something down. Maybe WhatsApp, or any text messaging app, or if you've got a notepad app or anything like that. Yeah? So it's already starting to be quite different. Yeah? Think about this question. When was the last time you went to the Gurdwara with a notepad and pen and took notes? And if you're not doing that, then what kind of learner are you? Yeah? You wouldn't go to any other course to learn, and yet we've been given the title of Sikh learners, yet we come to the Guru every day or every week with no intention of learning. Yeah? So take your phones out. Everyone, I want to see all of you. You know what you should do? Go to WhatsApp and find the person who should have been here, right? And start writing your notes, and at the end, click on send. Yeah? If you don't want to send it to anyone, don't send it to anyone. That's okay. Right, now we can begin. Whenever I travel, the first day is always nerve-wracking. I always get nervous. And I'm getting ready to come here tonight, and there's a question that's in my head. What am I doing here? Like, why have I traveled so far, all the way from the UK? What am I doing here? What do these people want to hear from me? Like, what do I have that I can share with these people? And I really have to question myself, and I get a little bit nervous. I'm thinking, what am I doing here? What am I going to say? And why should anyone listen to me? Why should people bother listening to me? And then I had to question myself this time again, like, what am I doing? And I thought, what is it that the Guru does for me? So I had to think about that. What does the Guru do for me? And I thought, what the Guru does for me is Guruji makes me question my life. And if I can help you question your life, then I've done something good. So I'm not here to lecture you today. I'm here to get you to write notes and question your life. So the great thing about a question is that I can pose all the questions, but you guys have to give me some of the answers. So feel free to make this an interactive session. Yeah, feel free. If we need, we got a second mic, we can walk around and people can stand up and give their questions and all that. But I want to hear from you. Yeah, I do a lot of talking all the time. I can talk, right? Anybody who's heard me talk knows I can go on and on. But I don't want to hear my own voice. I want to hear your voice. So the title of today's session is called, Do We Still Need Sikhi? Do we still need religion? Is God still relevant in my life? Yeah? So that should be the first thing you're writing down. Do I need it? Okay? Remember, any thoughts that are coming in your head as I'm talking, write them down. Any answers that are coming in your head, write them down. This isn't a session where you're just going to take notes on what I'm saying. Remember, I'm just going to give you questions, yeah? I'm going to do the easy bit. You're going to have to think for yourselves. So the first question for today's session, I want you to ask yourself, why am I a Sikh? Why am I a Sikh? If you identify with yourself as a Sikh, if you call yourself a Sikh, why am I a Sikh? I didn't say I was going to start with easy questions. A lot of time we talk about who is a Sikh and what defines what a Sikh is. And am I good enough to be a Sikh? Am I doing the right Sikh things? Am I being a good Sikh or a bad Sikh? All that sort of stuff. I don't want you to ask any of those questions. I want you to answer for yourself. Take a minute. Why am I a Sikh? Take a moment, try and write something down. It's not as easy a question as it sounds, is it? Got any answers? Feel free. Feel free to share some answers. Why am I a Sikh? Good. That's a perfectly valid answer. I was born into this religion. Thank you. By choice. Why?
This is the most advanced spiritually related religion. It's not religion, it's the spirituality itself.
Yes. Thank you. See, it's good to have answers for yourself. You know, this is spiritually advancing for me. It's doing something for me.
Because I believe in the Guru's teaching.
You believe that the Gurus had some value to share with the world, and it sounds like it makes sense. Excellent. Any more?
Because I'm a learner.
Because I'm a learner. But that's like saying I'm a student because I'm a learner. Why?
Life is a learning process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning.
But why are you learning?
Because you still don't know things.
Okay, so it's to learn something, to know something that you don't know. Yes? Excellent. Hand. There was a hand here? Because I want to learn. Okay. To be a better person. More? Makes me humble. Hanji. How to be a sovereign being. I love that. Very good. How to be sovereign. How to stand up on my own, be independent. Yes, one more. Gives me direction when I'm happy or sad. These are great answers. Thank you so much. So, here I've written some answers down of why I think people might be a Sikh. Some persons might write that to learn how to be a good person. To learn how to be a good person. To get closer to God. We haven't really heard that one so far. Anybody interested in that God thing? Yeah, one person. Thank you. So that I have a God that I can pray to get things in life. Maybe. Do some people just want to be a Sikh because when times get tough, I have something that I can believe in because sometimes life is just a little bit hard? To get to heaven? Anybody interested in that one? No? No one's interested in heaven? Good. I don't think most of these answers are what we should be thinking. I don't think this is what Guru Nanak came to do. I don't think Guru Nanak came to give you a golden ticket to a place called heaven or to introduce you, like some matrimonial service, to a really nice guy called God. I don't think that's what Guru Nanak Dev Ji was trying to do. And I don't think you need religion to learn how to be a good person. Yeah, and this is a very important argument for most atheists. They're saying, well, you don't need religion to be a good person. It's common sense. You know, don't kill anyone, don't hurt anyone, don't steal, all those sorts of things. So you don't need this whole organized structure for basic common sense morality, and just community kind of consensus is enough. The whole community gets together and says, you know what, stop doing that. That's not a good thing. Like everybody can't get along if people are all behaving like that. So there's almost an agreed way that society functions. So you don't really need a religion for that. So what is it about then? What is Sikhi about? What are we doing here? What are we spending our life with? Keep writing notes here. Anything that's coming to your head, please feel free. Write it down. Come and talk to me. It's not a problem. Here's a different question. You often hear people saying, I don't need religion. I don't see what it does for me. One of the most interesting things that I've found when I've had a chance to talk to different groups of people, especially youngsters, by the age of 13, a lot of young Sikh Punjabi children are convincing themselves that they're atheists. By the age of 13, and I've met these youngsters, and I'm sure there's a few of them here in this room today. What I tend to do when I do sessions with young children, if there's no parents around, I said, let's have an honest conversation. How many of you think you're atheists? More than 50% of them will put their hands up by the age of 13. As a parent, that's really worrying, because you have to then question, how much time do we have to help introduce them to Sikhi? If by the time they're 13, they're going to convince themselves that they don't need this stuff. By the age of 13, they'll convince themselves, Sikhi doesn't work. It hasn't worked for me. What if they tried by the age of 13 that they've convinced themselves Sikhi doesn't work? And now we're facing a very, very different world where we need to have answers to be able to answer these kind of questions, because where it gets difficult is the fact that we, or certainly the generation above us, were brought up to not ask questions. So we cannot go to our parents or grandparents and say, why does it work like this? What does this mean and what does that mean? They were like, sorry, we didn't really ask any questions. We just did what our elders told us to do. One of the really interesting questions that we get, especially from youngsters, is, Mom, Dad, why do I need to do part? I don't understand it. Why do I need to do it? And until now, what parents have been doing is they've been telling their kids, Babaji will be good to you. You'll get good stuff in life because we run out of ideas. Yeah? Life will be good to you. You know, you got to do the nice stuff for the God thing, and then good stuff will happen to you in your life. Like, we run out of ideas. You know what happens? Especially as teenagers start growing up and they start becoming 18 and 19 and 20, 21, they start looking at their friends and they start seeing, hey, Mom, Dad, all those people who never had religion in their life, whose parents didn't stop them from doing all sorts of things, because these kids are exposed to things that we're not even aware of. Like, they would say, my friends got up to this and this and this, and guess what? They still passed their exams, and they still got a good job, and now they've got a good career. Why did you stop me from doing all these things in my life? Because it isn't to get ahead in life, because that doesn't work anymore. So what answer are we going to give them? What about if we say, oh, it's to make you happy. It's to make you happy in life. Well, then they're going to ask, what do you mean make me happy in life? You're telling me that if I have to look a certain way, speak words that I don't understand, grow my hair, go to the Gurdwara, feel like I'm being judged, feel like I'm not good enough. You're telling me that's to make me happy? You know what? I can take a picture of me right now and post it on Instagram, and 50 people will tell me that they like me. That makes me feel happy, and that takes about 10 seconds. What's your guru got to do that can do better than that? What questions are we going to be facing? We don't even know, but more importantly, what answers do we have? So we are now in this world of information, and which is why a lot of the times people come to me and they say, can you come to our Gurdwara and teach our kids? Can you come to this camp and do this for the kids? And can you come to do that? And my answer is no, I can't. But I will sit in a room full of parents and help them get some of the answers. It's like, I don't know, in the UK, we used to have this advert, which was, give a man a fish and he can feed his family for a day. Teach him how to fish and he can feed his family for life. This is what we're doing. We're outsourcing our parchar. We don't need to teach our kids. We don't know the answers. Let's just outsource it to some guy that's just what he does, so he teaches people. No, you can't outsource this. You have to know it. So this is why you have to write answers down. You have to have answers to these questions. And so the first question is, why am I a Sikh? And if you walk away with nothing else from today's session, please go home and ponder on this question, why am I a Sikh? Because you will get people, even in their 30s and 40s and 50s, living in big houses and big mansions, driving amazing cars with lots of money, and they're saying, why do I need this Sikhi stuff? Look at my life. Look how great my life is. Why do I need it? Now the question, if there's any of those who are sitting in this room today who have that kind of way of thinking, Why do I need any sort of religion in my life when my life is pretty comfortable? My question to you is, yes, your life is comfortable and it's making you happy now. Will you still be happy when all these things are going to get taken away from you? Can you still be happy when you don't have a big house anymore? When you can't afford to pay your bills? When your kids don't want to talk to you anymore? When something's happened and you've been disgraced in the community and you don't even have a good name anymore and you don't have the money and you don't have all the luxuries of life, can you still be happy? Can you still be happy when your family are dying all around you? Because guess what, folks? Every single person in your life is going. And that's what my Guru teaches me. My Guru teaches me a way to be sovereign, to be happy, to be in Chardi Kala, no matter what is going on in my life. And the question you have to ask yourself is that what I have in my life? Is that my Sikhi? Do I have that? Because if you don't have that, keep reading all your Banis and keep looking like a Sikh and keep saying all the Sikh things and keep having arguments on social media about what you can and can't eat and what this person did and what that person did, and keep doing all those things. If you don't have the seed of happiness, then you haven't scratched the surface of what Guru Nanak came in the world to give you. You haven't even begun. And so life is going to change. And everything around you is going to die. The Guru tells us, Sabna marna aya. We're all here to die. Everything around you, we all know these quotes, right? We've read our Sukhmani Sahibs. Yeah? Dhas, basatoo, paachhai, paavai. Like Gurbani, we know these quotes inside and out. You can probably all quote Gurbani much better than I can. Right? Gurbani is saying to you that you have so many great things in your life and you whinge about one thing that you're not going to have in life. Don't we all do that? Oh, I can't believe I didn't get the latest iPhone, right? And I didn't get this and I didn't get that. I can't believe it. Come on, right? But what if all the things that you do have in your life get taken away from you? Then what are you going to do? These are the kind of things that the Guru does for us. Guru makes us question very fundamental things about our reality. So, people have not understood that the Guru, the Bani, is a wisdom that you are so blessed to be born into a house that has the wisdom that the rest of the world is dying for. But because we don't understand that Gurbani is a wisdom, we think Sikhi is a religion. Most of our kids and even our adults are saying, I can't do this stuff. This stuff is just too much. I can't wake up at this time, and I can't grow my hair, and I can't stop eating this and stop doing that and doing this and doing that and change my friends. And what will people say when I now start growing my hair and I start doing this and all that? I can't do all these things. And you know what? Guru Nanak isn't here to change the way you look. And Guru Nanak isn't here to change what you eat. That's not why Guru Nanak came. Guru Nanak came to give a little bit more than that. In fact, Guru gave a lot more than that. So we haven't understood that Gurbani is a wisdom. And when we start talking about these things, the other question that we get asked is, oh, you know, all religions are the same. They're all saying the same thing. Really? Have you studied all religions? I'm struggling to study one of them. My own one. How are you studying all religions and coming to the conclusion? Or the other great answer that we get is, yeah, I know what Sikhi says. Can you read Gurbani? No. Have you ever read any? No. But what does Sikhi say? It teaches me how to be a good person. You know what that answer means? It means I don't need to do anything. I think Sikhi tells me to be a good person. So what more do I need to know? Gurbani is not here to tell you how to be a good person. Gurbani is here for something more. And so people who haven't studied Gurbani and the Guru will say, well, all religions are the same and they're just here to brainwash you. You know, come on guys, live in the real world. Why? Is that real world so amazing? Let's think about this. Let's think about this idea that religion is brainwashing you. You know why they say that? They say, look, it forces you to wear certain clothes. Okay, let's tackle that one. How many people in here are wearing 18th century Japanese fashion? No? How many people in here are wearing African clothes? No? Chinese clothes? No? Most of you are either wearing English clothes, Western clothes, or Indian clothes. Why? Why is there nobody dressed in African clothes today? Because, thank you, it's the trend. Because society decides what you're going to wear. You're telling me religion brainwashes you? You've already been brainwashed. You can't walk around the shops wearing, you know, the African turbans. I love the women with amazing, these colorful turbans and all these kind of really big regal clothing. Why aren't you wearing that? Because you know you can't walk down the street looking like that. Why? Because society will decide what you should wear. When you guys are at work, what do you have for lunch? Whatever's convenient, either what you made at home or whatever's available in the local shops. Yeah, we had a Subway today. Why? Because that's what's available. That's what society has decided. This is the kind of food we eat. You're telling me society is the only thing that's free, making you free thinking? Or is society also deciding the way you think? We are facing a world where the kids are being taught, don't be religious, religion brainwashes you. No, religion isn't brainwashing you. The Guru is here to make you unlearn the brainwashing that society has already given you. And if you don't think society has brainwashed you, let's keep going. What do most of you do on a Monday to Friday? You go to work. Why do you all go to work? To pay your bills? Yeah? How many of you pay your bills and then stop going to work? No, you don't, do you? Because most of us are paying our bills, hopefully, we're all living relatively comfortable in the Western world. Once you paid your bills, do you say, I'm done for the month, I've earned enough money to pay my bills, now I can go spend the rest of the time meditating in the Gurdwara? No, we don't. You buy more, right? You've got to earn more money. Why? Well, we've got to get a new flat screen TV. Yeah? The car's looking a little bit old, that needs an upgrade. So don't think that you're not brainwashed, people. We're all brainwashed. And we've been brainwashed into thinking that you have to wake up every day and you've got to earn lots of money and you've got to work so that you can buy lots of nice things, so that you can live in an amazing house, so that you can feel proud, yeah, I live in a great house. And then you can get married, and then you can have nice kids, and then you can send them to good schools. And then, after all that, what are you doing after all of that? What is all of that for? Some of you might be brainwashed into thinking, I do all that stuff so that I can be happy. Yeah, absolutely. But we're not aware of that. How does this ego grow? So, you're doing all of that stuff to be happy. How many of you are married in this room? Keep your hands up nice and high. How many of you in your life would say you're really happy in life? A lot of the husbands are keeping their hands up because their wives are sitting right there. I better keep my hand up, right? Yeah, you better keep your hands up, Nathan. Like your wife's looking at you saying, hey, I saw you put your hand down. So we get the house, we get the husband, the wife, we get the kids, we get the good job, we get the good cars, and we get the TVs and all the material wealth. How many of you feel like life is still a little bit of a struggle every morning when you wake up? Yes? Where's your happiness? society convinces you that their method of happiness is the only method of happiness. And I'm here to share with you, the Guru came with his own method of happiness, and that's called Gurmat. Gurmat is not a religion, it is a method of happiness. Now the question is, do we think it works? Does Gurmat work? Well, let's look at it. Gurmat is a system of happiness that has been devised by people who lived that system. They lived that system and they were so embedded with this system of happiness that they were offered, would you like to keep this system of happiness or would you like to keep your head? And they said, I'd like to keep this system of happiness, you can have my head. Are you that happy that if someone says to you, I'd like to chop your head off, and you say, yeah, go ahead, which side would you like to start from, this side or this side? This is the system that we come from. We come from a system where they said, I'm going to chop you up. They said, where are you going to start from? From here or from here? This is the people who have devised a system of happiness. And we are unaware that we are part of this system, that we have this. You know, we talk about, oh, Gurmat is a khajana. We use all these lovely flowery words. It's a treasure. Look at the names of our Barnis. We have a Barni called Bliss. You read it every single day, and at the end of all Gurdwara programs, you sing the song of bliss. It's called Anand Sahib. How many of you sing Anand Sahib, and at the end of it, you're like, yeah, I'm singing the song of bliss, and I'm in that state of bliss. We've got another one called Peace. The treasure of peace, Sukhmani. The treasure of happiness. How many of you read Sukhmani Sahib and you're just flying with so much happiness? Like literally people are like, what's wrong with you? He said, hey, I just read Sukhmani Sahib. That's why I'm just in such an amazing state. We have shabads titled by emotions. We have Guru Granth Sahib Ji categorized into emotions. Rag, the word rag translates into emotion. The entire system has been categorized into a system of emotions. Are we even aware of this stuff, or are we just bowing down to it and eating langar? Do you know what you have? And yet, we are in a culture, and I'm just going to speak for the Punjabis here, we're in a culture where domestic violence is through the roof, where alcohol abuse is not talked about, but it's certainly there. And God knows what other things. Drugs, suicide, depression, anxiety. And yet every day you're reading shabads called bliss and happiness? Or are you not reading it because you don't understand it? Or are you reading it and making yourself feel happy? Well, I did my Japji Sahib today, that's it, I'm all right. This is why when our kids say to us, Mom, Dad, why should I read Japji Sahib? There's like, I don't know. Parents come up to me and they say, I can't get my kids to learn Japji Sahib. We've been doing it since we were kids. Our parents told us to do it. We've been doing it every day. We can't get our kids to do it. I ask them, do you know what Japji Sahib means? They say, no, but we've been doing it for 30 years. If you don't know what it means, we're of a different generation now. The kids are going to say, forget it. I'm just going to go on my Instagram. Instagram's a really funny thing. I just learned this like 2-3 weeks ago. I had a 15, 16-year-old come up to us, and I was talking about Facebook, and we post our stuff on Facebook. And she said, oh yeah, you guys are on Facebook. Yeah, that's for the old generation. And for the first time, I realized that anybody who's on Facebook, for the kids, you're the oldies. And we thought we were being trendy because we remember when Facebook came out. We're like, hey, social media, it's a big thing. Anyone who's under the age of about 18 will say to you, Facebook is for the old people. Yeah? So they have their own little hangouts that we're not even aware of. Yeah? So we don't know what's going on. We don't understand the world. We don't understand what is happening. We don't understand what's happening to us. And this is why I said, what does the Guru do? The Guru makes you question, makes you answer very specific questions. Hey, what's going on in your head right now? And Guru does it in such a beautiful, poetic way. You know, the Guru says in Japji Sahib, look, why are you worrying about all these religious practices? You know? That you can wash your clothes, you can wash your hands and have a clean body and all that kind of stuff. If your hands are dirty, pariye hath pair tande, yeah? We all know this stuff. If your body is dirty, yeah, you can wash it off. If your clothes are stained, you can wash it off. What are you going to do about the filth that you're walking around with in your mind? How are you going to wash that one off? The Guru makes you ask these questions. What are you going to do about that? I had a great conversation with a Virji that I'm staying with the next couple of days. He said to me, imagine you went to the Gurdwara and there was a projector that projected what's in your mind. He said, I'd never step into the Gurdwara again. If everybody could see what was in my mind, I'd never even walk into the Gurdwara. And the Guru makes you question these kinds of things. What are you going to do about that stuff? That dirt that you're carrying around? Because guess what? Guru Nanak came to the world with answers to those questions. Pariye mat papa ke sang, o to pe naame ke rang. What on earth does that mean? What is Naam? What is the dirt of my mind? And how does Naam wash it off? What does it do? Does it mean that I just sit here and say the word Waheguru and hope for the best? Usually that's what it means, yeah? You just sit, do a bit of Waheguru, 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 and hope for the best. And after about 15 minutes or 5 minutes, you're like, I'm kind of bored now. I think I'm getting hungry. I wonder what they made for langar. Yeah, I hear they got paneer in the langar today. Let's go quick. Right? So what are we doing? Are you going to the Guru willing to have these questions brought up about yourself? Because if you're not being a student. Because this is a student of what? Have we ever questioned that? Sikh means a student. But learning what subject? Is it Godology? Is that what we're learning? Is it Sikhology? How to do all the Sikh stuff? That's what most of us do. We go to the Sikh functions to learn how to be a Sikh so that I can talk like a Sikh, look like a Sikh, so that I can convince everyone that I'm a Sikh. And once I convince everyone that I'm a Sikh, I'll convince myself that I'm a Sikh as well. But the Guru is saying this is a subject of mind. And unless you're here to clean your mind, then you're not learning. Right? How many of you could call yourself a doctor just by wearing the white lab coat and the stethoscope and just print a name tag, Dr. Satpal Singh, right? Are you qualified as a doctor? No. What if you went to medical school for 5 years but never went to the class? Can you call yourself a doctor? What if you went to medical school, sat in the classroom, took all the notes, but never actually understood a word of what was being said, never practiced a single thing, never did any surgery, never looked at a corpse, never understood human anatomy and all these things? Could you call yourself a doctor? Then how can you call yourself a Sikh? Because you're looking the part, you're dressing the part, you're certainly trying to talk like a Sikh. But have you actually changed your thinking? Because that's what the Guru is here to do. What does Guru mean? To take me from darkness to light. Guru, darkness to light. Enlightenment. The Guru is here to enlighten your thinking, to change your thinking. The question is, how many of us are willing to have our thoughts changed? If we said we're running a session where by the end of the session you're going to think differently, you're going to be a different person, you're going to think like a different person. And what the process involves means bringing some stuff out that you might not want to face about yourself. And a lot of people will probably say, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. That sounds like too much. Can't I just go and matha tek and have some langar? Because this is what we're doing. So we're still trying to answer this question, why am I a Sikh? Why am I a Sikh? We have so many problems in our life despite the fact that we have Sikhi in our life. And what I'm trying to get you to just ponder is, am I actually doing what the Guru wants me to do? And trust me, the Guru is not happy with you just waking up and reading the prayers every day. I use this analogy. Imagine that you buy a piece of furniture from IKEA and every day you read the instructions every day, but you never build the cabinet. No? Is that going to work? Was that useful for you to buy that piece of furniture? What if you put the manual on a very nice shelf and you've got really nice cloths that you cover it with and you keep it really clean and then you've got a little jar sab that you put over it? Are you going to get that furniture built or not? Because that's what we're doing with Gurbani. You're reading it. You might have even memorized it. So somebody says, hey, do you know how to build that cupboard? Yeah, I know how to build it. I can tell you step 1, 2, 3. I can tell you all the steps. Really? Did you build it? No, but I read it like loads. I really know the manual inside out. The Guru is not happy for you to learn this manual because Gurbani is an instruction. Gurbani is an instruction. And the instruction is not just worth reading, it's worth doing. It's about, what am I doing with my life? Why do I think the way I do? Who am I? What is my life about? But we're not interested in that. We go to the Gurdwara, and the best bit is the ardas at the end, where we can have our name read out. Right? You give like $10 or even $100 because my son's going to have an exam, or I'm starting a new business, or I'm doing this and doing all that kind of stuff. And then we walk away. Hey, I've given my $100. Come on, man, that's pretty good. Guru must have heard that one. Guru must have heard that ardas. Really? Is that what Sikhi has become? Guru, I've given you like $100. You need to sort this out. You need to sort my life out. Really? That cheap? You know what? The Guru doesn't want your money. The Guru wants your head. Now who's ready? You know, we love hearing these stories. Oh, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, he came and he asked for a head. And these amazing people, they stood up and they said, yes, Guruji, I'm going to give my head. And we just keep going on about these stories again and again and again every year. And these are amazing, but has anybody ever asked, why did that guy put his hand up? In a crowd of 1,000 people, why did Paidaya Singh Ji put his hand up and say, yep, I'm ready? What did he have from the Guru that was so good it was worth dying for? Trust in what? The Guru, I'm suggesting the Guru has given him something. He found inner bliss, content. I think Paidaya Singh Ji got something from the Guru that was so life-changing that he said, you can take my head because life isn't about living anymore. It's about being in this state of bliss that you've given me. Right? Because what does the Guru offer you? Dukh parhar, sukh kar le jaye. Guru is saying, I'm capable of getting rid of your problems and giving you a life of happiness. And now that sounds quite good. Say, actually, Well, if you put it that way, yeah, where do I sign up? You sign up every time you bow your head to the Guru. That's the sign-up process. That's the registration process. I'm here for you to tell me how to do what you say you're going to do. Because we even have Barneys where the Bhagats are saying, Guruji, if you're not going to do what you said you were going to do, what kind of Guru are you? We have Barneys in there for people who are so close to the Guru that they're saying, come on, like you need to do your end of the bargain. Right? But you have to do your end of the bargain first. And we all know these lines. That's why I'm not a big fan of just quoting stuff, because you're all just repeat it. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, that's a wow, fantastic. You know? I don't want you to do that. But I do want to quote Gurbani, Shabad, where it's questioning me. Where we put some context around it. Now let's look at Gurbani where Bhai Gurdas Ji is saying, Charan Sharan Gur Ek Penda Jai Chal. Take one step towards the Guru, and the Guru takes millions of steps towards you. And most of us will think, oh, well, I think I've taken my step. Come on, Guru. Where's your millions of steps? Like, I've done my one step. Maybe I stopped eating something, or I started growing something, or I started reading something, or I go to the Gurudwara every day. I took my one step. Where's your millions of steps? But maybe that Shabad doesn't mean take one step. Maybe that Shabad means every day take one step. But those steps are not the steps that everyone else is talking about. And I'm sorry to say we're in a system where everybody is sitting on Gurudwara stages and saying, Amrit Shako, Guru Ale Bano. Why? Is it a conveyor belt that we take in people with cut hair and we churn out people with long hair and the 5Ks? Is this what we're doing? Because I've always argued that the Amritari is not the person who knows all the answers. The Amritari is the person who signed up and said, right, I'm here for my first day of school. So what we're doing is we have a system where we're telling everyone, Guru Ale Bano, Guru Ale Bano. Become the Guru Sikh. And people are getting really excited. Yeah, I'm here to become the Guru Sikh. Where do I sign up? Here, you come and take Amrit. They come and take Amrit. Just imagine going to school and you're getting all signed up. Yeah, do you want to learn this? Yeah, I want to sign up. The first day that you walk into school, they hand you a diploma and they say, well done. Off you go. And you said, oh, I thought I was here to learn. No, shabash, you've taken Amrit. Now you know everything. And then everybody becomes this poster child. Dekho ji, dekho. Look, he used to be a manmukh, now he's a gurmukh. Guru wala ban gaya. And then he's standing there all nervous. He or she standing there like, hang on, I don't know anything yet. Shh, we don't talk about that. You got the 5Ks? Yeah, I've got the 5Ks. You started reading your Nityanem? Yeah, I started reading your Nityanem. Oh, what more do you want? Hang on. But this wasn't a school about how to look like a Sikh. This was a school about how to think like a Sikh. How to get the mat of a Sikh. When did you teach me that stuff? Where is the school for Amritaris? How to be an Amritari. How to think like the Guru wants you to think. So we don't have accurate systems in place anymore. Our education system, if Sikhi is learning, then our education system isn't working for the next generation. And that's not a flaw in Sikhi, that's a flaw in us. That's not a flaw in the Guru, that's not a flaw in the wisdom, because Gurmat is unchanged. Guru Granth Sahib Ji is perfect. Guru Granth Sahib Ji has all the answers, but we've created this barrier. I once had sitting in a restaurant and the waitress comes up to me. Me and my wife are sitting in the restaurant. And the waitress obviously sees that we're like an Amritari couple. And she says, Paji, can I ask you a question? And she says, I eat meat. Am I allowed to do part? And that question really shocked me. That she had this fear inside her that am I even allowed to touch this bani because of what I eat? And I said, look, don't worry about what you eat. Start reading part. Start accessing Gurbani. It's not there for you to be afraid of. It's there for you to understand and learn. Maybe she went somewhere and somebody told her, put that down. You're not good enough. You're not even good enough to access the Guru. You're not even good enough to read the Guru. So what we've done is we've created a system where we've put the Guru on a pedestal and then we just bow down. Oh, you're the Guru, I'm nothing. Yes, that's true, but this is a system where you had to learn from this Guru. This is a teacher. So what is it that the Guru is trying to give us? If you learn nothing else from today's session, ask yourself this question: why am I a Sikh? And have I understood that Gurmat is a method of happiness? And if I understand that it's a method of happiness, am I applying that every day? Do I know it? When you read Japji Sahib and when you read your Banis or whatever it is, whatever your Sikhi practice is there any part of you that walks away and says, I think I need to ask myself this question today. I need to question this part of my behavior today. Or are we doing our Nitnem, are we doing our Naam Simran, and then at the end, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh, close the gutka, now I can get on with my real life. I did the religious bit, now I can get on with my real life. But the Guru is saying, hang on, your real life is not separate from your Gurmat life. Uthat, baithat, sovat, jagat, e man tujhe chitari. When you're asleep, when you're awake, when you're standing, when you're sitting, when you're eating, when you're bathing, when you're talking, when you're working, Guru Nanak has a system that works in all of those scenarios. Guru Nanak isn't a Sunday school. It's not a Sunday school. It's not something that you just do on the weekends. It's not something that you have to dress up for and look good for on the Nagar Kirtan. It's an everyday, every moment system. And then you have to ask yourself, oh, okay, it's a everyday system. Sounds like a lot of hard work. I thought it was just I read a bit apart. It's an every moment system. The question is, right now, at this moment, do I know what the Guru is asking me to do? We heard it in the beautiful Shabad. There isn't a lot of complicated answers here. Jap man Satnam Sada Satnam. Guru Nanak Dev Ji came with a message which was Naam. Naam is the solution to all your problems. You're like, really? I do it sometimes. I do that Waheguru stuff sometimes. I don't get why it's a solution to all my problems. That's because we haven't understood what Naam Simran is. We haven't understood it. We think it's God calling. You sit for 5 minutes and you call God's name. And then you get bored and then you leave. It's not a God calling system. It's a self-transformation system. Is this Naam Simran that you're doing at every moment, or you're supposed to do at every moment, is it transforming me at every moment? Because if it's not, then you got to now write another question going, oh, what is Naam then? Well, because I've been doing that Naam Simran stuff, but it's not done what the Guru said it's going to do. Naam is going to solve all your problems. Naam's going to get rid of all your sadness. Naam's going to elevate you to the higher state of mind. We asked the question, what did the Gursikhs have that was worth dying for? They had a method of happiness, contentment, of inner bliss, and that method was delivered in a pill called Naam. And the Guru even talks in these ways. So, we have to understand Gurmat from this way. If you're ill and you go to the doctor and you say, doctor, I'm not feeling very good. And the doctor says, okay, I know what to do. Here's a prescription. Here's your medicine. Take this medicine 3 times a day. You'll be fine. You come back next week. Doctor, I'm not feeling very well. Did you take your medicine? No. Well, what are you expecting me to do then? And can you just give me some more medicine? Okay, I'll give you some more medicine. Here's a medicine. Have it for the next 7 days, 3 times a day. After your meal, go. You come back the next week. Doctor, I'm not feeling very well. What is the doctor supposed to do? What are you doing every time you come to the Gurdwara and you're ready to do your ardas? What you're saying to the Guru is, Guru, I'm not feeling very well. The Guru gives you a whole bunch of answers, but you don't go away and do it. You're like, oh, I thought I was just supposed to tell you that I'm not feeling very well, and you're going to poof, do some magic and make it all disappear. I thought that's what I was doing. I was coming here and telling you my problems, because a problem shared is a problem halved. Guru, here you go. Take my problems. You're supposed to take my problems away. The Guru says, no, I can't just take your problems away. I can give you a medicine. Mera Ved Guru Govinda. My Guru is a doctor. Har har naam aukhad mukh deva. The Guru has given me Naam as a medicine and placed it in my mouth. And what does that do? Kate jam ki thunda. It gets rid of the bondage that I'm stuck with. All the stuff that's burdening my life, the Guru gave me a medicine and it fixed it like that. Now you have to ask yourself this question, do I have that medicine? Did I even know that the Guru is a pharmacist giving out this medicine for free? And every time, you know why this is frustrating? Because we don't understand the medicine. We don't know what to do with that medicine. It's like if the doctor gives you a medicine and it says you have to, it's like a liquid and you're supposed to drink it, like take a spoonful of it and eat it every day, 3 times a day. And you go to the doctor and you said, oh, I didn't eat it, but I was like applying it on my skin. And the doctor's like, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to actually have that medicine. This is what we're doing with Naam Simran. I'm sitting here, I'm doing my Naam Simran. Like, why is it not fixing anything? Because you haven't understood. It's not about what you do. It's about whether it's transforming your thinking. This is a transformation system to transform your life. And that's what the great shaheeds of our past had done to them. They were so transformed that living was like immaterial to them. You can do what you want with me. You can chop my kids up in front of me and put them on my neck. It's not a problem. Do you have that? Because that's the system that you're in. You're in this hospital that gives out that medicine. That's what the Gurdwara is. The hospital that gives out that medicine. The university that teaches you that technique. The learning center. Are we learning? And I'm not saying any of this stuff to make you guys feel guilty. I don't care about you being guilty. Right? Because if you sit there, oh, I'm such a papi, I'm such a bad Sikh, and then you go home and say, oh, I learned how bad of a Sikh I was. No, I don't want you to feel guilty. I just want you to ask questions. Because if you ask questions, and if I disturb you a little bit inside, maybe that little bit of disturbance inside you will motivate you to work in a new way. To think about life in a slightly different way. To approach Gurbani in a different way. Maybe when you read Gurbani, you might look at it and say, Guruji, I didn't understand that you were a prescription. I didn't understand that you were wisdom that I had to actually do and take on. I thought I just had to read. When we understand the Guru as a system for transforming your life, and I tell you, this is a system that works. And not only is it a system that works, you know what? It's a system that the whole world is dying for. The whole world doesn't even know that this system exists. And you're born into a house that has the system and you don't know that it exists. Forget teaching the whole world who the Sikhs are. You're not going to change anyone's life by tying a turban on their head. You are going to change people's lives when you change your life. Transform who you are. Change your thinking. Use the Guru. The Guru is there. Please don't be afraid of the Guru. Today we have no excuses. You can download the Guru on your Gurbani and all these sort of apps. You can have the Guru available to you. You know, in the old days, Guru Granth Sahib Ji used to be handwritten. You couldn't even go and find a copy of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, because how rare would it have been when the Guru was being written by hand? How many copies of Guru Granth Sahib Ji would there have been? Hardly any. Now, every town has a Gurdwara. And if you don't understand it, you can download it. And you can download it and have it translated. You want it in English? Done. You want it in Spanish? Done. What is your excuse? This is a learning system. So, I promised that I wasn't going to talk too much. So please do give me your comments, your feedback, your ideas, your questions. Let's open this up. Let's start with the first question.
Actually, you said it. It's, initially I thought reading Gurbani was a problem because of the language was a barrier, and then now we have these apps where the translation is available. I actually read through that too. But then I found interpretation, how you interpret it, is also different. And one example that I recently came across was when I heard you, I'm just giving an example, not picking, and it's, in Japji Sahib, Soche Soch Na Hoye, Ke Soche Lakwar, I grew up with the idea, Soche is thinking and pondering.
Yeah.
And then you said, Soche Soch Na Hoye is how much time, how no matter
Cleansing.
how much you wash or cleanse. And then this interpretation is not be all end all, both of them can fit in.
Yeah.
But then there are a lot of other interpretations that I came across, and I challenged myself, not anybody else. And I said, I think it means that, but the translation said something else. And I can cite that, I can tell you that. It is again from Japji Sahib, because I'm still stuck there.
Of course,
I can't move forward because they're not being answered.
Yep.
So I think in today's life, Guru Granth Sahib Ji is great. It has got all the answers. How I interpret it is my problem.
Brilliant. This is a very good point.
Yeah, language used to be a problem, not anymore.
Great point.
Interpretation is still a big problem.
So just to repeat for anyone who didn't hear, the point being raised was that in the old days, language was the issue. But now when we have access to Gurbani in whatever language we want, it's now a question of the interpretation. Which interpretation is the right one? You know what's amazing about Gurbani is that it can have multiple interpretations. You yourself will know this, where you have been familiar with a shabad, you think it means one thing, and then something happens in your life and the same shabad takes on a new meaning. Same shabad, same words. You read it 1 year, you read it 2 years, 3 years later, the same shabad takes on a whole new meaning. Gurbani is a system of self-learning. It is a system where you're supposed to keep progressing the way you think. Because as long as you're developing the way you think, you're continuing to learn. Otherwise, what you'll say is, I know the whole of this Bani. But you don't know it. Because the Bani, it works like a mirror. Gurbani is like a mirror. It shows you what you are, where you are in life, how you're thinking at this point. So if you're really concerned about family problems, you'll read Bani and you'll say, oh, Gurbani is giving me all the problems. But if you're really worried about job and money, Gurbani will give you answers for those things. So Gurbani is meant to be interpreted by you. You are supposed to apply it in your life. Yeah, it's not like a furniture that there's a one size fits all. That's where my IKEA analogy breaks down. Yeah, it is a system of building you up, developing you.
So we can interpret it in a different way than what somebody else did.
Yes, but it's always good to hear different interpretations. That's where Sangat is really important. Don't close your mind off that says, oh, I've figured it out and everybody else is wrong now. You could be wrong. We can all be wrong, right? So interpret it, but speak to other people. Say, hey, I'm thinking about Gurbani in this way. Somebody will say, oh, that's completely wrong. But allow them. Say, okay, well, tell me, what's your interpretation? And sometimes they might say something, say, actually, that sounds quite good as well. That makes sense as well. Allow yourself to be transformed. I'll give you an understanding. One of the very first lectures I ever delivered, I was in Sweden. And just before I was starting, my colleague who was with me, a friend who was with me, I think they invited me, and they introduced me as a teacher. And I had to start the presentation by saying, in our system, nobody is a teacher. In our system, we're all students. There is only one teacher. But you know what's great about this system? You never graduate from this school. You can never graduate from this university. Sounds a bit disheartening. It's like, oh, what do you mean? Because graduate means I've learnt it all. In Sikhi, you can never say I've learnt it. You are always going to be titled a Sikh. So for the rest of your life, you're going to be interpreting the same Bani. As you develop, the same Bani is going to keep developing you more and more and more. But definitely have access to Sangat and definitely keep an open mind. You can interpret Banis in more than one way. So be open to those and say, maybe I can learn something. Where you start to close your mind off and become rigid in your thinking, that's where you're stopping the Guru from accessing you. Because the Guru is saying, hey, you remember that Shabad I taught you? Now it means this. I'll give you a perfectly good example. Like up to the age of about 15, 16, the qualifications that you study in the UK is called the GCSEs. And one of the subjects that you study is biology. And I studied biology at GCSE up to 16, and we learned that, here's a cell and all of this kind of stuff. And by the end of that, we're like, I thought I know everything about biology. Like, I really get it. But then I did my A-levels, which is like 17 and 18 qualifications. And there we studied the cell. And I was like, there's so much more about the cell that I needed to learn. So at one point in my life, I thought I'd figured it all out. But then you start opening the cell up and there's like this and that and all these. I don't remember any of it now. But the point is that the same thing that you thought you knew, you go back into it and you learn a lot more about the same thing. So the Guru will say, hey, last year I gave you this understanding. This year, let's develop it now. Let's take it to the next level. This is a learning system where you never graduate. So that's a very interesting point. Thank you for raising that. Any other comments? Hanji.
Two questions. So suppose if I start reading Gurbani, if you say for instance, Japji Sahib, it's like hundreds of people start coming into my ears and say, stop. It's really frustrating, irritating, stop yourself. Okay, if you're still going...
Stop for what reason?
Don't read it. I don't understand why. It's just my illusions or whatever is happening, but it's becoming very difficult. Okay, even if I go ahead, then there comes a line, Amrit Vela Sach now. He says, all right, even if you go there, you have to stop there because you have already crossed Amrit Vela. Okay, you are going ahead. Then there is a line, Gyaviya Suniye. First you listen, then you implement. I'm again stop there. So it's like a lot of things happening. I'm not understanding or I'm not implementing, and things getting difficult. And as far as I'm reaching towards the last puri, I feel like relax. All right, it's finished now. Things are stopped. It's comfortable life.
Yeah.
That's my first question.
Okay. So the point being raised here was that Vijay is saying that I'm reading Japji Sahib, but I'm getting stuck at many points because at every point where I'm reading it, I'm coming across things that I'm not doing. So I feel like I should stop. Like I'm not being a good enough Sikh. So I'm not waking up at Amrit Vela. I'm not practicing this. I'm not doing that. So I'm reading Gurbani as almost like it's creating barriers for me because I'm actually realizing I'm not doing all these things. My response to that is I don't think that the Guru is creating barriers for you. I think the Guru is, like I said before, the Guru is a mirror. Every time the Guru is saying something, what you're doing is you're realizing a truth about yourself that's uncomfortable. I don't do this. I don't do that. I actually think a bit like this when the Guru is telling me not to think like that. So the Guru is a mirror shining light back on you. What is Guru? What is the Guru going to show? Ru means light. Guru is shining the light back onto you and saying, I'm going to show you your darkness. I'm going to show you your own dirt. I'm going to show you your own mail. Yeah? So that you can realize it. Otherwise, you're saying, hey, Guru, don't shine the light here. It's too dirty here. Yes, it's untying the knots. It's making you face the difficulties. And this is, how else are you going to transform? If this is a transformation system, this is a system of cleaning out the dirt. And that doesn't have to sound so mystical. It's actually facing up to parts of my psyche that I'm not so happy about. So I think it's great what the Guru is doing for you. The Guru is shining a light on the things that are feeling a little bit difficult. Oh, well, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. At least you know. At least you know the bits that you need to work on. Does that make sense?
Does this mean I have to wake up in the morning to challenge that?
You're gonna have to answer your own questions. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's all. Look, you know what's gonna go wrong if you say, oh, do I have to wake up at Amrit Vela? That is one of the Guru's instructions. Okay, but all your problems are not going to get solved by just waking up at Amrit Vela, because there's a whole bunch of people who are waking up at Amrit Vela and they haven't fixed every problem in their life.
Yeah, it's right. It worked for 5 days and then I'm back to the same routine.
Yeah, it's difficult. Nobody's saying this is easy. But rather than beating yourself up about what you don't do, you just do an ardas for the next one. Try again. Look, when you're riding a bike, when you're learning how to ride a bike, if every time you fall off the bike, you say, that's it, I'm not doing it, are you ever going to learn? You learn by falling off the bike. And you keep coming back up and trying again. I recently watched the reruns of all of these Batman movies, the Dark Knight movies. And there's a line in there where Bruce Wayne is like a little boy and his father says to him, why did we fall down? And he says, we fall down so we learn how to get back up again. Yeah? Sometimes it's nice to throw in some of this other stuff as well. And I was like, oh, wow, that's a great line. I'm going to use that. But credit where credit's due, yeah? That's from Bruce Wayne. So there was a second point, and then we'll come here.
So I always find excuses coming to Gurmat because I used to bring my parents in the evening. And when I'm coming to office, there's always the thoughts coming in my mind, oh, at least they'll find a bus and they can go. Why should I have to go? And when I went up there, I stand in front of Guru's side. I feel very scared that I'm not implementing your teaching. I'm standing in front of you, first thing. Then when the ardas is going on, the other thing, I'm bringing my heart out.
Yes.
I know it can be difficult for my parents. My father is Indian.
Yeah.
And when ardas is going on, I was like, please finish it off. It's getting late. I understand there will be lines at the end. Please give that. Let's finish it off. I have to run back. Yeah. So I feel like it's a guilty kind of.
So the point here was, I feel scared going to the Gurdwara. I make excuses for going to the Gurdwara. And when I go and stand in front of the Guru, I start to feel scared because I know I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what? This is amazing. And I'm really pleased that you've really made yourself vulnerable here and opened and shared in a big sort of public space like this. Your development has already started. Your development has started. Your transformation has already started because look, when you go to, I don't know if anybody's been to these addiction support groups, Alcoholics Anonymous. What's the very first thing they make you do? Even if you've never been, you all know it. They make you stand up, they make you say your name, and they make you admit, I have a problem. I admit I have a problem. You cannot get over an addiction without admitting to yourself first, I am an addict. Now, the question we all have to ask ourselves is, what am I addicted to? You have to ask yourself this question, and you probably know already what you're addicted to. We're all addicted to things. Every single one of us has an addiction. Every single one of us has thoughts that we don't want to share with anyone else and actions that we're not proud of. The question is, at what point do you reach when you say, I have a problem and I'm ready to fix it. I'm ready to now live a life without this problem. This is far more complicated than it's sounding, because let me give you something. Why you are addicted to certain behaviors is because you like it. The reason you do what you do, the reason you act the way you act, and this goes down to anything, like you might even say, oh, I get angry too easily, or I'm really like always getting annoyed at people, I'm really frustrated at people. The reason you do all of those things is because there's a part of you that makes you feel like I'm right when I get angry at that other person. That means that I can tell them how right I am and how wrong they are. I'm right when I behave like this. I'm right when I give in to my kaam, krodh, lobh, moh, ahankar. It actually feels nice, but I come to a gurdwara where it keeps telling me not to do that stuff. And that's where that conflict is. Conflict is a very important part of this self-transformation. The bit that starts to feel difficult is the guru poking and prodding inside you, saying, you know what, that thing, it ain't going away, let's deal with it. This is where Sangat helps. This is where Bani helps. This is no longer a self-transformation system that you have to do on your own. This is a self-transformation system that requires you to be in a group of like-minded, open-hearted individuals that will say, you know what, I have that problem too. Let's work on it together. This is a self-transformation system, and the first part of the transformation is for you to have your dirt revealed to you. Now, it's no good just saying, yeah, I know that. I know all the stuff that I do that I'm not supposed to do. I know all the things that are wrong with me. But if you know it, start approaching the guru with just this one problem. So start working from tomorrow morning, saying, Guru, I'm going to just ask you for this one thing. Let's just work on this one problem. And part of the work that we're doing with the Nanak Naam charity is to help deliver solutions to these problems. Because we know what all these things are, and we know that the Guru has the solution for these things. But you can't just keep getting up and just doing your Nitnem and making yourself feel good. Yeah, proud to be a Sikh, all that stuff, turban pride and all that kind of stuff. No good. That's not part of your self-transformation. Yeah, I'm just going to take one point here, then I'll come to you. But anyone from the back, please feel free as well to put your hands up.
It's easy for you to understand Gurbani so well. Why can't others have the same understanding of Gurbani and act accordingly? What differentially you have done?
Very good question. The question is, it's easy for you to understand Gurbani so well. Why is it that other people can't understand Gurbani like this? And why can't they get that same understanding? I'll share something with you. When I was about 19, I believe, I was blessed with Amrit. And I was the first person in my family to take Amrit. And my parents were very proud of me. They always brought me up into Sikhi, but nobody had taken Amrit in my immediate family. And parents were very proud of me, family is very proud of me. And I started reading Gurbani. And you know what, when I took Amrit, the day I took Amrit, I hadn't even heard about Panch Baniya. All I thought about was there was this Japji Sahib one, and then there's a Rare Ras. Because I grew up in kids' camps, and they only made you do Japji Sahib. So when I was 19, I thought that's all you had to do. And then on the day that I took Amrit, the Panch Pyare are talking about Panch Baniya in the morning. I'm like, what? There's 5 of them? Right? Like, oh, I don't know about this. I came home and I was like, what's the 5 Baniya? Like, I thought it was supposed to be Japji Sahib. So we don't all just learn this stuff like nothing. So I was doing Bani, and especially Rare Ras, and I used to say to my mom, I can't stand this. I don't understand a word that the Guru is saying. My mom gave me the most annoying answer. She said, Holi, it's going to all come to you. Slowly, it'll come to you. And I'm like, when? But you know what? Mom was right. Now I can read Rera Sahib and Japji Sahib, and I'm like, oh, I get it. I understand the words. I have a relationship with the words. Like it's something that is part of me. I can talk to it, and it can talk to me. But I didn't start like this. So how do we get to this point? And by the way, I'm no genius when it comes to Gurbani. Please, like anybody who knows me personally will know I don't really know what I'm talking about, right? So But you guys are kind enough to give me time on stage, so I'll make the most of it, right? My 5 minutes of fame. But I don't have all the answers. I'm still relying on the English translations because I grew up speaking English as my first language. English is what's in my mind. I think in English. So I'll give you guys a tip, what was really useful for me. The question was, how do you develop that understanding? How I did it, and this is something I recommend everyone to do, every day, when I used to go to work, every day, before I'd switch my computer on, I had an IT job, so I'm sitting in front of the computer every day. Before opening my work emails, I would go into work and I would just spend 5 minutes reading the Hukamnama of the day. Right? You know, you can go on these Sikhnet or any of these great websites. I would read the Hukamnama of the day. So then I got a bit of Punjabi reading practice because I didn't know how to read that well. So I got a bit of practice how to read Gurbani. Then I would read the English translation. So I'd get, okay, Guru, what's your message for the day? What I would do is I would then pair up the words. Oh, that word in Gurmukhi means that word in English. That word means that in English. And every day, before starting my work day, just 5 minutes every day, or maybe 10 minutes, I'd read the Hukamnama and I would pair the words. That means that. You have to learn Gurbani word by word. It's a different language. It's not Punjabi. It's got its whole other vocabulary. It's a different language system. It's a bit annoying that you have to learn a whole new language, but it's a beautiful language once you learn it. And now I've got to the point where I'm reading Gurbani and I'm reading the English translations and I'm very clearly able to say, no, that translation is not right.
But you find that sometimes translation is not right?
Oh, of course. Very limited, the English translations, but they're great to start with. I don't knock the English translations because I came from learning through those English translations. But now I can look at it and I say, oh no, they've mistranslated it. Yes. That word has got sihari at the end. It hasn't got an ankar at the end. It's meant to mean this. And it's self-interpretation. Yes. It's sometimes you can read this and you can say the English word that they've chosen isn't quite the right word. That's right. I think it means this. It's a bit more sophisticated of a word.
I'll give you an example. Hukme ho anakar, hukam na kiya jaye. I read the translation, it said, by his hukam, the akars are made.
Yes.
And hukam na kiya jaye. Actually, it's an answer to the previous sentence in
Give
the
Satyara.
Japji Sahib.
Yeah.
Give Satyara hoiye, give kude tutte pa.
Yeah.
Hukam rajai chalna, nanak likhya naal. Hukmi homan akar. Hukam, jada uda hukam hai. It happens. It is not hukam na kiya jaye.
Yeah. It cannot be.
Akash to nahi aanda.
Yes.
wo apne aap akar le lenda hai.
Yes.
That means trust in what is happening.
It is happening.
And whereas when I read the translation, it said,
by his command.
By his command, the akar is created.
Yes.
And I didn't agree with that.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We have made Guru Granth Sahib Ji massively dualistic. Yeah. Him and me. God over there and I'm over here and God is sitting over there and just giving out all of these kind of instructions. Hukam does not mean that kind of God. You're absolutely right. Yeah. When I was lucky enough to go through the meaning of Japji Sahib, that pauri has 5 different spellings of hukam. And 5 different spellings of hukam in one shabad, in one verse, have 5 different meanings of hukam.
That's what I said. Interpretation is so challenging. Sometimes I want to challenge the translation, but then I say, somebody learned has written that, and then I keep quiet, keep my mouth shut.
No, all these learned people are people like you and me. They're giving their interpretation. You're allowed to have your interpretation, but just check it with other people. Develop your understanding more.
Actually, I will now go back and, it'll give me a lot of confidence.
We're in the, one of the biggest blessings of my life was the opportunity to translate the whole of Japji Sahib.
Oh, have you?
So on YouTube, I have 60 hours of video, all in English, translated every single Japji Sahib, line by line, word by word. And in that Shabad, I give you the 5 different spellings of hukam with the 5 different translations of what the different meanings of hukam are. And I have loads of people that I've met that they say, you know what, in the mornings when I'm ironing, I had this lady come up to me, she says, Monday morning is my ironing day, 2 hours I'm ironing every Monday morning, that's when I listen to you. Somebody else says to me, I'm driving to work, it takes me an hour every day, that's when I listen to you. So you don't have to take time out. Remember, this is a moment-by-moment system. You can do this all the time. So if you do get a chance, if you're really interested in self-transformation, definitely go through that Japji Sahib series. It has, and I'm not saying this about me, when you understand Japji Sahib, it has transformed people's lives. It has, I had somebody come up to me, and when I was in California, this young man came up to me, and his mother came up to me. His mother came with 2 hands folded, and she says, "You have no idea what you've done to my son." He was about to commit suicide until he watched our videos, and he understood Gurbani in his own language for the first time. And he sent me a message saying, "I was about to commit suicide, but now I understand Gurbani, it's changed my life." So this, I'm not saying this about me. I'm saying this about what the wisdom is that is unlocked in Gurbani can change your life. I just want to go back to Virji because he had his hand up as well.
So I just want to inquire, like, how do you actually administer this medication? Like this, how, like, they always say, like, meditate on now. How do you actually meditate on this now? Like, what is your state of mind will be when you are saying this now? I mean, going about doing your ironing is just your daily activities, but there must be some sort of state of mind that you must be in to actually administer this medication properly, to actually gain that bliss that you're talking about.
So, we used to have this game show. The question is, how do you apply this medication of Naam? How do you apply it? There must be an actual system. You know what? We used to have this game show on TV called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You've asked the $1 million question now. Yeah? The top question, which is, how do I actually do it? And so what's really surprising is the number of times I've been to camps and I've been to all these kind of things, and the kind of questions that people ask: are gays allowed? Are this allowed? Can an Amritari marry a non-Amritari? Can we eat meat? And all these kind of things. And I've always said this question: why does nobody put their hand up and say, how do I find God? How do I interpret Naam? How do I do these things? People aren't asking these questions that you've just asked. The very fact that you've asked this question is amazing. Now, it is a $1 million question, and it isn't a question that's got a 2-minute answer. I have a lecture on our channel. I don't want to keep pointing you guys back to my lecture. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to do self-promotion here. But just to answer that question, there's a video called What is Naam? It's a 1-hour-long video. It talks about first understanding what is Naam. Because if we understood Naam as a tool, as, for want of a better word, a tool for self-awakening, as opposed to God's name, which is what we've done it. What we're doing is God's name. As long as you say God's name, then God's sitting there. He's got a big queue of people calling his name, and he's just kind of like a lottery system. Your name will, he'll listen to you one day. That's what we've done with Naam. Yeah? I'm developing courses now specifically to deal with these things. What is Naam? What is meditation? We've answered a lot of these questions on the YouTube channel, but I do want to give you some answer, right? Naam for me is a self-destruct button. Yeah? Think of a movie. You got a movie and there's a big red button, and if you press the button, like, the rocket launches and the whole missiles come, and then the hero comes and he saves the day, right? Naam is the self-destruct button. Self-destruct. How do we know this? Gurbani says, Homme nave naal virodh hai. You and your ego is the opposite of Naam. Naam and me, the ego, are having a battle. Either Naam wins or I win. So your very self-identity, what's your name, Viji? Kirat Singh. Kirat Singh needs to disappear in order for Naam to appear. And when we understand Naam as the self-destruct mechanism, then you'll start to understand, am I applying it the right way? Because most of the time it's not self-destruct, it's self-preservation, but I don't want to do anything about the self. I just want to call God in my life. I just need to have a nice relationship with God. No. Gurbani is a system where you disappear. How do we know this? Jab hum hote, tab tu nahi. Ab tu hi, main nahi. When I existed, God did not exist. Now God exists because I don't exist. Kabir, tu karta, tu hua. Kabir ji says, I did Naam Simran so much that I became you, mujh mein raha nahu. There was nothing left of me. It's a self-destruct button. And sounds a bit weird, like, what do you mean self-destruct? I'm not talking about suicide. I'm not talking that you have to kill yourself. I'm talking about you have to realize that this Kirat Singh that's been created is a false identity. That's not who you really are. You're not Kirat Singh. That's what Naam is there to teach you. You're not Kirat Singh. Kirat Singh is a character. But man tu jot saroop hai apna mool pachan. You are something bigger than that. Naam is the self-recognition. What are you really? And why I call it the self-destruct button is because you realize, Kirat Singh is here, but I'm not Kirat Singh. Kirat Singh can die tomorrow, but what I really am can't die. It's a whole different system to what we thought it was, which was God calling. You sit there and you call God's name. So this isn't a 2-minute answer. This is what I'm trying to say. It's not a 2-minute thing. It's a very complicated thing. It is the $1 million question, but the answers are there. Gurbani has the answers, but you need Sangat to help show you how to look at Gurbani, because we've not been guided in the right way. And I'm not saying I've got all the answers. All I'm saying is the system that the Guru has shown me is worth me talking about. You know, TED Talks, what's their slogan? Ideas worth sharing. Gurmat is an idea worth sharing, people. But not in the Guru Ali Bano, Kes Rakho, Amrit Shakho. I'm not saying don't do those things. I'm saying that's not where the answers lie. The answers lie in something much more intrinsic to you as a person, who you are.
Do you have to be focusing on something when you are trying to integrate?
How to meditate? Yeah, there's a leaflet here called How to Meditate. Please do take it. There's a leaflet here, 2 leaflets, How to Find Happiness and How to Meditate. I should have bought more copies, otherwise now we're going to run out. But you can download these. If you want a copy of this, please just send me a message and I'll send you the PDF versions of this so we can send it to you. We are a charity. We're trying to develop our website at the moment so that you can just go online and download these things for free, but we're still working on those. For now, contact us, say I want a copy of this. If we run out today, I'll send you a PDF copy of these things. We have answers to these things. And this is the reason why the charity exists right now, because we identified this is not what people are talking about. And I tell you, look, let me tell you a little bit about where this charity started. This charity started when I realized that there were questions that people had, and for some reason, that's not the kind of Sikhi that people talk about. The kind of things that we've talked about today, you don't have a venue to talk about these things. We don't have a place where we can sit and ask questions about very deep personal things about who we are and what our life is like. So please go have a look at our YouTube channel. There's a lot of answers on there. If you do get a chance, try and go through the Japji Sahib series. I know it's asking a lot. It's a lot of hours, but it's worth it.
These people want to ask one quick thing. When I do part one day, it's like very good, very happy. And next day when I do the same part, my mind is wandering. Same thing, I'm doing third day, it again goes up, and then again. This cycle is not breaking from years.
Yeah.
And I've been trying so hard, but same thing again. One day soup goes up, and then after a week, it still is craving for the thing again. I don't know how to break the cycle.
I tell you, so the question was that one day when I do part, I get a lot of peace, and one day I get back down again. I'm down. I am on a, life is like a roller coaster. Yeah, one day up.
Leaving my job, everything, and just doing.
Being in sukh and anand and bliss, leave my job, just meditate. The next like doesn't do anything. I tell you, my number one, you're not alone. This happens to all of us. It happens to everyone, including myself. Secondly, what I would suggest is that you're chasing after bliss. And Naam Simran isn't bliss chasing. Because if what you do is you've set an expectation. Some days...
But you feel it one day.
Yes, agreed. But there is a expectation that has been set in your mind that every day Nitnem should feel good. That's an expectation that you've set. the expectation is I should feel good and I should get some reward out of this. But remember, this isn't a reward-getting system. This is a head-giving system. So, can you do part with zero expectation? It's hard. Can you do part with zero expectation? And in that zero expectation is where you find the bliss. But it's not a bliss that's dependent on short term. It's a bliss even though baro I'm dukhi. There's a lot more that we can go into these things. This is an entire system. Can you find a way to be thankful even in your dukh? Can you find a way to be thankful even when life doesn't feel that good? Are there things that you can be grateful for? Because all you have to do when you don't feel happy is just take a moment and realize what you do have. When you don't feel happy, your whole mind's focus is, I'm not getting that bliss today, this is not working, it's not. Take a moment, take a breath back and just understand, I'm breathing. That's worthy of being thankful for. Anytime it goes a bit too down, if you have nothing else in life, you're breathing. Not everyone can say that. Yeah, actually, if they could say it, then we'd be worried. But there is always something for you to put your mind towards, that you haven't got this or you haven't got that. And it's just it's a way of thinking. You can allow yourself to be up or down. Anyone can be happy one day and sad one day. Anyone can feel that ras for Barney one day and not feel that Barney. And I'm not saying it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. We all go through. I go through it. I read Gurbani sometimes and they're like, oh, don't feel like it doesn't work. All that kind of stuff. Just take a break. It's all right. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. The point is not about doing. It's not about I've got to complete this. The way I look at Gurbani, and now this is where I'm starting to give you how I deal with this, as opposed to this is the correct answer. Like I said before, I don't have any correct answers. All I have is how the Guru has explained it to me. I don't have any answers. But how I would look at that is it's not about doing. It's about, at this very moment, is the words that I'm saying working for me? If it's not working for me, try something else. Slow it down. Because look, one of the things I recommend with Gurbani and doing part is it's not a performance. So sometimes when I'm reading Gurbani and it's not working for me, I just stop and I breathe and I slow it down and I just recalculate, recenter myself. Okay, this is like I'm doing Gurbani, but I got one hand on the clock. I'm trying to finish it. I'm thinking about other things. I got work pressures. I pause. Yeah, I use this word rahao for me. Rahao, relax, stop. Take a moment, breathe. Okay, maybe I'm not feeling this Gurbani today, but at this very moment, have I got something to feel thankful for? And once you recalibrate yourself, it's like a reboot. Yeah, computer's not working, switch it off, start again. You reboot, it works all of a sudden. But what I mean by Gurbani is not a performance, is what I also do is I change the pace of Gurbani. So when I'm reading Gurbani, I find because I'm so familiar with it that I go into autopilot. And I go into autopilot and that's where I don't feel the bliss. Then I stop. Sometimes if I'm doing it in my head and it's not working, I'll start saying it out loud. Sometimes if I'm saying it out loud, I'll realize I'm saying it too fast. I'll slow the pace down. Just bring yourself back. Change it slightly. So that by the time you've ended it, you might have done it in 5 different ways. Yeah? Now some people might say that's a completely wrong way to do it, but I maintain Gurbani is not a performance. If you're doing it on stage, I wouldn't recommend you to do that. But it's a personal love song between you and your beloved. And if you're not feeling it, your beloved's not going to feel it. Right? Imagine you went to your lover and you said, every day I've got a love poem to read for you. You're so beautiful, you're so lovely, you're so... Right? Like you would not make that person very happy. Why do we read Gurbani like that? It's a love song between you and the divine. Ek onkar satnam karta purv nirpau nirvair ka. Where's the gurus are musicians and artists. They're singers and poets. I give you a beautiful story of growing up when we used to hear stories. There was a very famous story of a great singer in India, Tansen, right? Like everyone must have heard of this great singer. And I think he employed by King Akbar, right? Tansen was known as the greatest singer in the world. Like phenomenal. And one day, King Akbar said to him, he said, Tansen, I've got a question in my mind. You're one of the best singers in the world. Everybody knows you as the best singer in the world. But you must have learned from someone. How good must your teacher be? I want to hear your teacher. Tansen said, no chance. Can't be done. He doesn't, I can't do that. I can't give you access to my teacher. And the king was like, hey, I'm a king, man. Nobody's going to turn me down. And very, very insistent, very insistent. Nope, I have to listen to your teacher. Is he still alive? Yes, he's still alive. Okay, I have to listen to your teacher. So one day they go and they go to the village of Tansen's teacher. And Tansen says to his king, we have to hide in the bushes. He doesn't do performances. Right? We have to hide in the bushes. They said, okay, fine. We hide in this bush, and every morning at this time by this river he comes and he bathes here, and that's where he sings. And Akbar and Tansen were sitting there. Yep, we're going to listen. They sat and they listened. And sure enough, the teacher came and he bathed and he started singing. And Akbar was so moved by his singing. He turned around to Tansen and he said, I thought you were the best singer in the world, but now that I've heard your teacher, he's just on a whole different level. Why is he so good? And Tansen replied, because I sing for you, he sings for God. I sing for a job, he sings for love. Gurbani is your song to God. It's not a performance. So if you're not feeling this love story, this love song today, change it. Change it so when you do say it, you are feeling it. But what are you feeling it for? How do you fall in love with a God that you've never seen before? These are the kind of things that you have to ponder on. Who am I singing this to? Maybe I don't know what God is. Okay, I'm just going to sing to nature. Yeah? We have that in look at Asa Diwar, the whole Shabad is just on Qudrat. You're like this and you're like that and you're beautiful and you're stunning. Sing to nature. If you first understand what is God to you, is he the guy with a white beard in the clouds? What is he to you? Which God? Is it a he? Is it a she? Is it far away or is it near you? Which God? Otherwise, who are you singing a love song to? It's like you just picking up a love song and singing it and you don't know who you're singing it to. So it's a very important system when Gurbani is saying that moho ki bolan boliye, jit sun tere pyar. What words shall I say that I may feel your love? Amrit Vela is the answer. The Amrit Vela isn't you wake up and you just read the 5 things, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh, and let me get on with my life. No, it's your chance, like Tansen's teacher. That moment when you don't have to think about everything else. You don't have to think about your work commitments and all these kinds of things. That's why it's not a burden on you to wake up at Amrit Vela. It's an opportunity because the Guru knows, you know what, at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, you don't have any appointments. Right? So make an appointment at that time. You know, people are always like complaining like, oh, I don't get to see you anymore. I don't have any time. I have to book an appointment just to see you. Yeah, because our lives are so busy. Yeah, we've got so many things to do. What are you doing on the weekend? We got this. On the evenings, we got to do that. Kids have got soccer practice and then we've got to go swimming classes and all these sorts of things. We don't do it, right? We've got to go through this daily grind. But you don't have appointments at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's your opportunity. Slow it down. Rahao. And just take this as an opportunity. You're asking God, what words can I say that I may feel your love? Amrit Vela Sachinao, Vadiyai Vichar. If the words aren't working, then you just do vichar on how amazing the universe is. Let me just for a moment sing your Sift Salah. And then when you understand that this is the system, then when you're reading Jap Sahib, you're saying, Namo Surja Surje, Namo Chandra Chandre. I bow down to the sun that created this sun. I bow down to the moon that created this moon. It's a love song. It's a beauty. And we're just not taught Sikhi in this way. We're taught to feel inferior for not doing these things. But I think we should start feeling inferior for not falling in love every morning. It's an opportunity to fall in love. And what is the things that the Gurus have said? Yeah? Mere man prem lago har teer. My mind has been shot with the arrow of the Guru's love. Come on. We are lovers, we are musicians, we are poets, or we're certainly students of these amazing people. So we have a different system, and you telling me that we don't know how to find happiness? We do know how to find happiness. It's by falling in love every morning. These are beautiful systems, and the rest of the world, they don't have any of this stuff. We are so lucky that we have Guru Nanak in our life. But we don't know that. So because we don't know these things, we don't have any answers to go and give to our kids. We don't know what to say. This is an opportunity for you to transform your life. And if you're not transforming your life, you're just doing a whole bunch of Sikh stuff. And the Gurus don't care about that. We were having a conversation today. What would Guru Nanak say if he came and he saw the way the Sikhs are today? Guru Nanak would point out all of the things that we're doing, and probably what we would do would probably kick him out. Get lost. We're following our Guru system. But Guru Nanak did the same thing. Whatever the system was at the time, Guruji questioned it. You're pouring water that way, I'm pouring water this way. You're wearing those clothes, I'm wearing those clothes. He was a rebel. He didn't play by the rules. But to teach you, we use this beautiful word, self-sovereign, to teach you to find a system that works for you. You don't have to answer to anyone what your Sikhi is. You don't have to answer to anyone, oh, I'm not a good Sikh because No. Most of the other people that are judging you, they're pretty messed up in their own heads. Let them be. If they're judging you, they've already got it wrong. Your relationship is your marriage to the Guru. I always use this example. Sikhi is like a relationship between you and the Guru. Now, I'm married to my wife. I can never tell you all the things that you're doing wrong in your marriage because you're not doing it like the way we're doing it. I can't do that. I can give you some advice. Hey, we look at life in this way. But I can't judge your marriage based on how our marriage is. In the same way, I can't judge your relationship with the Guru based on how I have a relationship with the Guru. But you have to create that relationship with the Guru. It is a relationship. And it's a relationship between you and the Guru. And it's a system where you can fall in love at every moment. And that's a beautiful system. And that's a Naam. That's that state of Naam. Another word for Naam is love. So, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk so much, even though I said I wasn't. But thank you for sharing as well. I really appreciate that. And I hope that you can appreciate that there is a way of looking at Sikhi, at Gurmat and Gurbani in a way that I think is quite different and quite novel and something that I feel is needed in the world today. And that's why we run this charity. That's why I'm coming all the way over from the other side of the planet, so that I feel this is something worth sharing. I feel there's a way of talking about Gurbani and Gurmat that really is life-changing. So if you guys haven't had an opportunity, if you've got your phones out, have a look at our YouTube channel, Nanak Naam. Hundreds of videos on there that talk about this in different ways. Please do support our charity. This charity is just myself and one or two other people. We're completely funded by people like you. There's no organization, no Gurdwara that's funding us. There's no corporates that are funding us. That's literally like, I've left my work to do this full time, to share this wisdom as I've understood it, because I don't have all the answers. So please do have a look at the videos, share them, talk to people, say, hey, look, let's look at Sikhi in this way. And if you like it, please support us. Thank you so much, everyone. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.